Okay, so again, thank you very much for this opportunity. In this presentation, I'm going to share a little bit of my very personal experience as science communicator. Um, I will start with this slide, but actually I decided to change a little bit the title because, believe it or not, I'm a very shy person. I'm an introvert scientist, and this actually helped me to go faster and better with my skills behind the computer. So as Ellie mentioned, the platforms of social media are very powerful for us as a scientist. So in this presentation, as I mentioned, I'm going to show you essentially what I've been doing for the last years. I actually started very early, but you will see that later. And the thing here is that I'm going to talk also about what is a digital content creator and what is a science communicator, because are two different things, but that doesn't exclude the one to be the other one. But you have to be clever and take care and be careful also with these kind of situations here. So I'm going to talk about my path, the strategy that I'm using, that is actually using humor, using art, but also with serious topics, using social media, what I'm doing now, and what are my plans for the future. As you can see here in the right corner, I'm going to put some tips for you that you can use to increase your numbers of followers. Um, if, of course, if you are interested on that, time is not very long, so I will probably not stop too much in that, but just for you to know. So I'm a science communicator. Well, I think I am because I'm doing a lot of science communication, but I consider myself as a content digital creator, what is known as a kind of influencer for most of you. So my name is Fernando, and people know me as Banana Man, essentially because my topic of research are bananas and Panama disease. So I'm doing science communication, but I'm also a scientist myself. So I did a master, a PhD actually. Currently, I'm finishing a second postdoc and becoming a full-time researcher. So to start with, I would like to make this difference. According to the definitions that I found in the internet, a science communicator has the role of informing, educating, raising awareness of science-related topics, increasing the sense of wonder about scientific discoveries and arguments, while the digital creator essentially is responsible, as the word indicates, to create. Is a creative person who creates material dedicated to a specific digital media and also to different audiences. So both are very similar, but the thing is that the science communicators have a more focused audience and are dedicated only to science. In my case, I'm doing science communication, but I'm also doing other kind of things that you will see there. So let's go a little bit to the past. I'm not that old, but actually, when I started at the same time as YouTube was created. At that time, I was already a scientist, but I used social media for a totally different thing. So as you can see here, I had a small business of action figures, and what I did was just reviews of figures, and I got a lot of followers. And actually, as Ellie mentioned before, it was even easier to make money on YouTube. You didn't need 1,000 or you didn't need the 4,000 views. You can just put a video, and if people like it and see it, you start earning money. I made at that time more or less $25 per month, which per week, which was a lot in Colombia. So it was a good business for me. I also use my skills for another content like insects and drawings. But because I was a scientist, I also used Twitter, that at that time was like the platform to use Twitter to communicate science. Still happened, but in the past, I'm talking like I'm very old, but some years ago, Twitter was completely different what it is now. And these kind of things, even though you can still see these kind of things on Twitter, but this was the kind of science communication that was done before. Just this kind of graphs that only are understandable by scientists, right? and even for scientists in different fields, is very complex to understand. And this was the type of science communication that was happening before. For X or Y reasons, I stopped that work for many years and I went to a dark time. But then there is a time that I call the Renaissance, and was when I started my PhD and I came to the Netherlands. So I came to Wageningen University. I had a very busy PhD life, but I noticed that science communication was more appreciated in this country and actually encouraged. So I was still making some videos and nice pictures, and the people from communication in my group contact me to help them with pictures, with videos. But then they were making the same mistakes again, very boring communication about our work. And then I took a decision, and that was to focus on one audience. And for me, that was what changed everything. So I decided that I will do science communication for people without a scientific background. So very simple science, but very at the same time very serious. I really like this meme because it's very true. So people love memes, love humor, and we can actually bring science camouflage it in something like this. So what you need is somebody who's encouraged to do it. So that's what I started to do. And here another tip: choose very well your niche, because that will define you as a science communicator. Can you change later your strategy? Yes, you can. But once you start, I said by experience, it's very difficult to modify later your strategy. So I decided to go for the general public, and that's what I've been doing all this time. Remember this slide? I already knew the mistakes, and I didn't want to do this again. But why if I mix? So I decided to mix my skills on videos on YouTube, um, pictures, drawings, and combine with science, and that's what I started to do. I made a lot of artistic, let's say artistic, because I don't consider myself an artist, but at least I use artistic expressions to communicate science. And I started to make videos. I started to use my drawings, nice pictures, and communicate science in a different way. Here my other tip. So be fun, visual, because you know one picture says more than 1,000 words. Be interactive, so always challenge the people, ask questions, start games. These kind of things makes you to grow in numbers, and that's important because at least as a content creators or science communicator, as Ellie mentioned, we need more people that encourage us to make more. So if you feel that people are receiving these kind of messages, you can you are how do you say, like more motivated to continue. And that worked very well because a lot of attention was received from our group in the banana. We got visitors from everywhere, journalists, and of course, I'm also a good scientist. So I published papers, and my papers were very good at that time. And also, I was in the TV, as you can see here, and also in National Geographic ones. So I started to grow very fast in numbers, and this is very true. The great power comes with great responsibility. So I started to have a voice, and that's important, that we do a good science communication with good basis. So you have to become an expert in your field. And if you don't know, it's better that you contact the person who knows to do this kind of communication. So we decided to start different events, like for example, the Wageningen, for those that are not familiar, is the name of the university. We started the Wageningen Banana Day, and we organize many events in which we focus on people without scientific background, but also in the little ones. As you can see here, I'm teaching about bananas, about diseases in plants using games. And then, remember this banana that I made, this one? So I decided that that would be a nice opportunity for me. But then I discovered Instagram. And Instagram it has a really endless possibilities for science communication and for art. So I wanted to make art with bananas, but then this is another bad thing on Instagram, that when you think you invented something, probably somebody else already did it. So you have to really be creative. So when I tried to do that, I noticed that there was a very famous artist already working with that. Um, then what I did was to contact him. I invite him to work with me in a project that I call Science plus Art. In this case, I invited academics to talk about bananas, but I also invited artists who work with bananas. Just imagine if I make this event only for academics, the audience will be little. But because I invited a famous artist, this was seen by many, many more people, and more people got involved in this project. So the next tip for you is collaboration. There is not a way that you can be successful without collaboration in social media. So collaborate with other science communicators and don't limit yourself to this. If you want numbers, you have to collaborate with artists. They have bigger audience, with journalists, with food lovers, with everyone. Some A few years ago, I started something that I call Insta Friends. So I meet my followers and I gave them the opportunity to show what they are doing, their research, their art, wherever they have to show. And that was also very good for them to grow in numbers, but also to you because you are going to be seen by the followers of that people. And then the possibilities are very big. As you can see, I have a lot of things that I'm getting from these people. What are the advantages? Broader visibility, because if you focus only in the academia, is the niche here, the community is very little if you compare with another niches. So you have visibility for yourself, you put yourself in the map, you can share your knowledge and learn. You can also, as Ellie mentioned, business opportunities. And as a good influencer, you can also get a lot of things for free. So that's also nice, right? Then the university noticed that I was doing a good job with this. And at some point, I had more followers than the university. And then I was offered to work with them to prepare blogs. But that was really difficult for me because, as I mentioned before, I'm very shy. I'm not good at acting in front of a camera when somebody else is filming. The good thing with the vlogs is that you can do it yourself. So I made several videos in which I, of course, show my own work with bananas, but I invited very serious professors from the university to film videos. I put them to dance even, and they were just happy because these kind of things are good for them because if they are going to apply for grants or something, they need to be known in the world. What's the best way? YouTube, as it was mentioned before. So currently I have a community of more or less 18 to 20,000 followers if I combine all my possibilities. And the most interesting part is that the followers I have in each of these different accounts are completely different. So that's a very nice combination to work. For example, in Twitter, mostly I work with academics, but in Instagram is mostly artists. My other tip here is don't neglect your job or your study. So if you have a job, take care of your job. If you study, also take care of your studies. There is time for everything. You can be a serious person and you can be a fun person. If you really want to dedicate your life as a science communicator, that takes time and preparation. So if you want to really live out of that, you have to prepare yourself for that. So I have my community of academics, let's say, in these other platforms. But something very interesting is that in these platforms, I'm not doing anything related with science communication. It's just a professional network. While here, I'm doing a lot of science communication. Very quickly, what I'm doing now, unfortunately, my time at university finished, but I didn't stop my activities as a science communicator, of course. So I have, I'm very close to 1,000. It's very sad because when I started 10 years ago, I had 14,000 followers on YouTube, but then I stopped for 5, 6 years. And then, of course, start again is very hard. And now, if I focus only in academia, is boring for most people. So I try to combine also in YouTube, and I'm growing faster now. I'm also very close to 1,000, and then I hope I can also make some money in the future. I'm still posting videos related with academia, hobbies, but for example, here, social media is very strange. So you dedicate a lot of time making very well edited videos, and you get 3,000, sorry, 300 views, for example. Of course, not many people are working with the same topic I'm working. But if I put a video in where I'm cooking with bananas, you can see 13,000 views. So that's why my advice, of course, you can do your own idea, but my advice is always to mix because the people who go to see that video in which I'm cooking, they will receive the next video, which is a video related with the serious problem in bananas. On Instagram, I have what I call small little creative projects. So my advice here is, if you have Twitter, Instagram, or wherever, please start now creating your own hashtags. That is kind of branding yourself, and that puts you in the map. On Mondays, for example, I have the Monday insect. In Mondays, I'm teaching entomology. I'm teaching about insects with games, with nice pictures. And why is important to use your own hashtags? Because when people find these kind of pictures in the web, they see the tag, and then if they want more information, they Google, and the only thing that they will see is all your pictures. So that's important for you if you are a good photographer, for example. Other thing that I'm doing is posting my socks. You will say that's a very stupid thing, right? But it's not. This is one of my most popular posts. I do it on Mondays also sometimes. And what I do is I post socks, but I'm teaching about the topic of the socks. For example, here I'm teaching something about cherries, teaching something about cheese, uh, about chilies, etc. What is the important thing here? I haven't had to buy socks since like 4 years ago. I get socks for free, which I love because I'm a sock addict, and that's why I started to do this. The most recent thing, remember the Insta friends that I was doing? Of course, because of the COVID, I cannot meet people anymore. So what I decided is to make this coffee break with Banana Man. So I gave the opportunity to other scientists, other Instagrammers. It doesn't matter if they are scientists or artists or food lovers or wherever. I just give them the chance to show their work, and we have a kind of interview for 30 minutes, and that gives them more followers. Regarding my drawings, as was mentioned before, I'm also following exactly the same strategy. Fun in this side because I want to have also my own thing, right? My hobbies. So that's why I'm a content creator. If I would decide to be just a science communicator, people don't allow me to do these kind of things because I'm already limited to certain things. But of course, I'm also doing science. I'm writing or drawing this comic about the story of the banana, in which I'm using really scientific facts to teach about people about bananas. My tip here is to create your own material. Don't copy. Doesn't matter if you are not artist or if you are not good at this. There are hundreds of free options that you can use, combine, and create. So I don't know if I have a few more minutes. Okay. Okay. So of course there are pros, there are cons, but I will focus only on the good things. The good things, you get attention for yourself, for your research. As I mentioned before, you put yourself in the map. People know who you are, what you do, why it's important. You can teach, and at least for me, that's something I really like. I really like teaching. I do it even with my socks, as you notice. So I teach and learn because when you are preparing science communication, you need to ask, you need to study, you need to do your own research, or you need to contact people who knows more than you for certain topics. So you learn a lot, you help others, which is very nice. Your network grows immediately. Most importantly for me, I enjoy what I do. And of course, this is a very important topic. You can make money. I'm not making a lot of money, but for some of my posts, I am sponsor because I have many followers. And as long as it's not something crucial, let's say, or something bad, I just do it. So essentially, things related with bananas is a nice topic. As Heli mentioned, also is daily I receive a lot of invitations for interviews, for workshops, how to use Instagram, how to use YouTube, a lot of postcards inviting me. So it's nice because you become an expert in your field. And it's interesting because I can say that half of the requests I got are for science, and the other half for things like the socks, the insects, the movies, the cartoons, these kind of things. So it's a very good combination because I'm combining my work with my hobbies, which I like. So just to finalize, thank you very much for your attention, and please keep creating.